Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas by going straight to the source material. Today, we are unpacking a really profound and ancient puzzle, all about the true nature of wisdom. So we're going to explore that very question by diving into one of Buddhism's most mind-bending texts, the Smaller Prajñāpāramitā Sutra. It's a text that completely challenges our basic assumptions about reality. And, it all kicks off with a philosophical riddle from the Buddha himself. Okay, so our journey begins with what sounds like a pretty simple request from the Buddha to his wisest disciple, a guy named Subhuti. Seems straightforward enough, right? The Buddha asked Subhuti, who's known for his incredible understanding, to teach the core principles to these very advanced students called bodhisattvas. But Subhuti's response, well, it throws a complete wrench into the whole conversation and creates this puzzle that really defines the entire text. He flat out says he can't find the very thing he's supposed to be teaching. He's looking for a bodhisattva as some kind of distinct, solid thing, and he comes up totally empty. I mean, can you imagine being asked to teach a class of students, and your response is basically, "What students? I don't see any students here." Now, this isn't just Subhuti being difficult or playing games. It's a riddle, and it's the gateway to the sutra's central teaching. It forces us, the readers, to ask, what is a bodhisattva? Or for that matter, what is anything, if you can't actually pin it down as a fixed thing? And the answer is this radical and kind of wild concept called shunyata, or emptiness. It's the idea that everything we put a label on, a person, a thought, a chair, it doesn't have a solid, independent, permanent essence. Bodhisattva is just a convenient name, a concept, but it's not a static thing. And realizing this, really getting this, is the very first step in practicing the perfection of wisdom. So, okay, if a bodhisattva isn't a fixed thing, and neither is anything else, then how in the world are you supposed to practice this wisdom? I mean, how do you even act when nothing is as solid as it seems? Well, the sutra explains that the key is all about not dwelling. A practitioner of this wisdom doesn't get attached to any experience, any idea, or even the idea of themselves as a practitioner. They don't dwell on forms or feelings or thoughts or consciousness. They experience them, sure, but they don't grasp onto them as if they're solid or real. Now, I know this can feel super abstract. So to help us really grasp this idea of not dwelling, the text gives us a bunch of really powerful metaphors to describe the world we experience every day. Think about it like this. Every single sight, every sound, every thought, and every feeling is as fleeting and insubstantial as a phantom created by a magician. They appear, they have an effect, but they don't have a solid core. They're like a dream, incredibly vivid while it's happening, but ultimately it's empty of any permanent reality. But here's where it gets really wild. The text takes this idea to its absolute most radical conclusion. It doesn't just stop with the everyday world. The sutra says that even the ultimate goal of Buddhism, nirvana, this state of ultimate peace and liberation, is also like a magical illusion, just like a dream. There are no exceptions. So you might be thinking, this all sounds pretty philosophical, but the text is adamant that understanding this idea of emptiness has immense, tangible power in the real world. It's even described as a great spell or a great mantra. Now, this isn't because it's some kind of magic words you chant. It's because embodying this understanding, truly living it, acts as a powerful form of protection and becomes a source of incredible benefit. And the sutra lists a ton of real-world benefits for someone who upholds this teaching. It says malicious people or spirits can't get the better of you, you're protected from accidents and untimely death, you become free from fear, and, just as important, internally, you're no longer controlled by things like anger or pride because you see right through the illusions that fuel them. But okay, beyond just protecting you, what's the spiritual value of this wisdom? Well, get ready for this, because the text makes some claims that are they're truly astonishing. It uses these escalating comparisons to show just how valuable understanding this teaching really is. The comparison here is absolutely staggering. The merit you would gain from building sacred monuments across entire galaxies, an almost unimaginable act of devotion, is said to be less than the merit of just one person writing down this teaching and sharing it. And you have to ask why, right? Well, it's because this wisdom is the very source of enlightenment itself. So let's tie this all together. Why is this teaching so central to everything? Why is it sometimes called the mother of all Buddhas? Well, the text explains that Prajñāpāramitā, this perfection of wisdom, is the guide for all other positive practices. Without it, all the other virtues, generosity, ethics, patience, they're all directionless. The sutra has this amazing metaphor for it. It says they're like a crowd of blind people trying to find their way to a city without a guide. This wisdom is the guide that gives them sight. It gives them direction. So, the crucial point is this. This path isn't about rejecting the world or becoming some kind of nihilist. It's actually about seeing the world clearly for the very first time. By understanding the empty, dreamlike nature of everything, you're freed from the attachments and fears that cause so much suffering. And that freedom allows for genuine, boundless compassion to just arise. And this is the really beautiful outcome. This profound understanding doesn't lead to some cold, distant indifference. No, quite the opposite. It blossoms into a deep and effortless compassion. The bodhisattva sees all beings with the kind of effortless love you'd have for a parent or a child, because all those barriers of me and you that cause us so much pain have just dissolved. Ultimately, this ancient text isn't just philosophy. It's a practical invitation to a completely new way of seeing the world, one free from fear and just full of effortless compassion. And it leaves us with one final question. In a world so built on attachments and solid identities, what would happen if we started to see it all and everyone in it as if it were all just a beautiful dream?